everybody, welcome to Wingman's Hangar, episode 57, or 57 for those of you scoring at home. If you're new to this is kind of an inside look at everything Cloud Imperium games and Chris Roberts' new epic space adventure, Star Citizen. We have teams around the globe and we try to bring what all of them are up to on a week-to-week basis. Let's get to it! We have coming up today, we have a sneak peek at the latest and greatest from Foundry 42. I think you're gonna like that. We have forum feedback with your questions, and no videos made the cut this week. Sorry, you know the rule. And an interview with Squadron 42 lead designer, Phil Meller. So let's get to it again. Boy, what's going on this week? We have lots of people in LA working on the dogfighting module. Look at that list of folks. They're coming from all over the world to help out, to get that out. As we said last week, we're hoping to get that done around PAX East time frame, somewhere in there. And so they're all in LA right now, cramming it together, working hard, and we're killing each other daily on this basis. So we also had a Capital Factory talk. I, Mike Morlan, and Rob Irving went down to a Austin Gamers Unite and gave a little pep talk on Star Citizen, what we've been up to this last year. And the funny thing about that was, as you get your head down while you're making this project, you get so busy in all the stuff you do, you kind of forget all the cool stuff you've done so far, and it kind of gives you a chance to review all that and show others. And some new citizens were hatched and born, and some other people, some people that were a little skeptical were converted. It was a really, really fun time. All right, interviews. Lots and lots of interviews. Positions to fill. Cloud Imperium, we are still hiring on a daily basis for all kinds of stuff. Go to the Cloud Imperium Games website, check it out, because we need more folks to help us make this wonderful game. New hires, Austin, LA, Foundry 42. Take a look at this. We've got hires again. Another list of really, really talented people have joined the fray to help bring this game to you. So I still need more people though, so get your resume in there, hr@cloudimperiumgames.com. It comes right to my desk. Fan gifts, as ever. You guys are amazing, and we are humbled. Hey everybody, we got a fan gift, and it is a cool trunk, and it's from Finland. Finland! So who's got it? It is really cool. Look, it's got Terra, Armitage, Spider. This is totally cool. I guess you want to do it, Kevin? You grab that one, I'll get this one. You ready? If this thing pops out, all right, I got
something's gonna jump out in there.
I got mine open. All right, let's check it out.
Surprise!
Oh, let's
sweet.
It says greetings to the Star Citizen Squadron 42 team from beautiful, cold Finland. You hold your hands, a small token of our appreciation sent to you because we love you. Well, we love you. Anyway, it's a commemorative plaque. It's T-shirt. What the heck? Look at all this cool stuff, man.
Candies.
From Ben Lesnick. We got to get that to Ben. I love Finland. I love Finland.
Underwear?
Who wants underwear? I love Finland underwear. Yeah.
I'll take
I gotta take. I'll get one to Skeleton over there. Bring Kevin. I'll take. Let's get to the
Just
plaque,
my
though.
size.
It looks like we got some Finnish candies, which always go well for Wingman's weight.
Bird candies. Cool.
Oh, chocolates. Chocolate.
Hey, get that away from Wingman's weight.
Over here, Wingman.
It's called Thin Maya.
Cough up the chocolate, Eric.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Look.
check this plaque
Wow,
out.
sweet.
It says, Star Citizen, thank you for letting us see our dreams be made. From the Finnish fans, Marskin Nyrki, I think.
Dude, that's sweet.
This is cool, guys. So what do we got to say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Woo-hoo.
I love Finland.
Thank you guys very much. Anytime you send any of our studios something, we are humbled and honored by that. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Now, also, if you guys missed it last week, episode 1.3 came out for the next great starship. Sandi Gardiner's hosting, and of course with Chris, and Sean on the panel. Some people were eliminated. Well, not really eliminated, thrown into the wild card round, and some people got through. Remember, if you have a favorite that's been eliminated, when the wild card vote comes up, get your stuff in there. Episode 1.4 will be out this Friday. Really looking forward to that. Now let's take a look with Aaron Roberts and the Foundry 42 team as they share some bits on the mining Squadron 42 and creating something that is good enough for Chris Roberts and the immersive experience.
Welcome back to Foundry 42 in the UK. What we want to do today is give you guys a much more in-depth look in what we've been doing here over the last few months. So we're going to talk about the concept phase of a lot of the stuff we're doing and how that's going to work in the game. We've been working on the first section of the game, and this is basically mining operations and a huge asteroid belt. And so we actually have to make sure that the whole operation, which will be also in the persistent universe, works properly.
We've got to make the player feel part of the universe. Everything's got to have a purpose.
Yep, living, breathing. At the start of the game we go to a place like a Shubin mining outpost. So you fly there and you put down, but then if you want to go sightseeing, you can go around and you can actually study how stuff works. When we first came up with it, we just came with like the small asteroid base with like the generic, mining platform just plumbed into the side. But then
the concept guys go over there and change it a bit.
That's the fun bit. watching it evolve. Because it went from like what's it, about a kilometre long, and now it's 6 kilometres long. It's just huge.
Wow, look at the size of that. The Starfarer.
It's massive.
It's huge. And there's going to be on foot stuff and first person combat on the station as well as dogfighting around it, so it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
There'll be some cool opportunity for dogfighting, zipping between cables, the asteroids, the base. I think it'll be great.
Reaching the visual quality and the fidelity that Chris Roberts is pushing for. It's, I don't know, it's kind of movie quality. There's no rock left unturned, basically.
The level of detail in these large ships is so overwhelming that you can basically see every bolt, every nook and cranny.
It's not just a case of having a ship and basically saying, okay, well, it sort of looks good. Every single mechanic on the ship has to work. All the systems on the ship has to work. We know how the weapon systems work. We know how the weapons are controlled, how they reload. All these things are really important to the design.
What I got with the Idris was a sort of a rough concept of the shape of the turret. So it was my job to kind of look at that and look at the space that we had inside the corvette itself and try and figure out how we could come up with a modular system that could be placed into not only the Idris but any of the capital ships. The original design by Ryan Church had these missiles stacked at a slight angle. So we had two options. We could have brought the actual turret itself down into a horizontal position and then just have the missiles load horizontally. But I actually thought it was a nice little extra layer of animation, just have the missile reloading rack just tilt up slightly and slot the missiles in.
We've been looking at turrets as well. That's a big, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we came with a lot of the turrets. They weren't manned initially. We thought, well, I want to get in here. I want to get in that thing and start blasting away. So then that was another one we passed off the concept, and they came back with some awesome stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, they can be automated, but the way that everything's sort of looked at, I think in this universe is the player could potentially do a better job. So if he wants to get in a turret that was automated, then he can get in there and he can start choosing his own targets and blazing away.
Yeah. There's damage states on them, so you can sit in there blasting away. Then a armor plate there goes flying off, a barrel there goes flying off. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Everything we do in Squadron 42, we've got to consider the persistent universe. We can't sort of go off a tangent. We've got to plan for everything being functional in the persistent universe.
We had those harvesters, didn't we? And they were just like, we'll just put some mining drones in the background. They fly around and they just go and harvest. But then initially they started off pretty small, like the size of a transit van, but now they're like absolutely huge.
We kind of, the initial sort of brief was these sort of deep sea mining rigs, that go down and you can fix things. But they've grown and grown since then.
Then we came back. Was it? Got to stick a cab on it. Yeah. So a fully working cab, so you could get into it and fly around. Yeah,
potentially in the persistent universe, people could take these rigs and if they had a big enough setup and go out and mine for themselves. So there'd be a cost involved, obviously, because these things are huge.
Thanks for joining us here at Foundry 42. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen today. We're obviously going to come back to you with some more cool stuff later on, maybe talk more about some of the cap ship stuff we're doing. We'll probably come more in depth on some of the way the operations work past the sort of concept phase we've shown you today. But yeah, we'll be back with you guys, so see you soon.
Wow, I love to see that stuff. We have some really, really cool teams working around the world, and it's fantastic to get a glimpse into what everybody's doing. And that's the kind of stuff we're looking to be bringing you guys more and more as we go forward on this year with Wingman's Hangar. So guess what time it is? It's time for...
Forum feedback.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Eric.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Did you see that system was pretty cool that the boys have Foundry 42
pretty
put
impressive.
Together. Yeah, and the challenges of them making something and getting it into the player universe is pretty interesting. So because it's single player and multiplayer at the same time.
That's right.
Should we get right to it?
I think we should.
Let's try to butcher some names. From Gaius. Say I don't feel like piloting my ship. Can I have the NPC pilot it for me while I go man the turrets?
Sure. I mean, we've talked about AI pilots and gunners a lot. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, in the case that you would rather be the gunner than the pilot, then sure. Get up and have your NPC. And we're not talking like an AI. We're talking about a person that sits down in your seat and goes flying around, right?
Yeah, right. So you put a pilot, and I guess you could put an AI NPC in there, and he would be flying around trying to dodge things while you're trying to shoot things. That's kind of the fun of that, right?
Pretty cool.
All right, from Stega, can you tell us more about escape pods? Which ships will have them, and how will they work?
Thinking about Star Wars here. the first best escape pod. The escape pods are, they're an alternate way. It's like an ejection seat in Hornet, right? Mm-hmm. It's the way to get out of your ship. And in bigger ships, that's where you need a system like that, where you can't just shoot the seat out of the cockpit because it's a closed cockpit. The Aurora, for instance, doesn't have an ejection seat, so you'd have to bail out through the hatch.
The ejection, and I guess through the hatch.
But on the bigger ships, like the Constellation and the Idris, certainly have them. And basically, you tuck yourself into the little beds and they dump out the side. Or in the case of the Idris, they shoot out through holes in the side.
And you remain intact as a character, as a person, so to speak.
Exactly. It protects you.
Cool. All right, cool. From Infidus, with the dogfighting module right around the corner, I was wondering if aspiring pilots can look forward to a ladder ranking system at release.
Ladder ranking. Yes, there is going to be some preliminary version of that. We are keeping stats as far as doing matchmaking and everything. So in order to get the players together so you guys can fight each other, we'll have some stats stored. Now, it's going to be probably a pretty rudimentary ladder system at the beginning, on the first release. But as all of our other modules, it will continue to grow over time.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is you guys help us out. Tell us what you want. When you start playing the dogfighting module, say, gosh, I'd really like to see this, or golly, how about that? And, we'll follow that along.
You think they'll say gosh or golly?
No, probably they have different verbiage than I do. I could probably say different words here too, but I'm not sure we could. It's a family show. From Loot Goblin, I was just wondering if you had any idea if gladiators will be able to fit inside an Idris, concerning it is a carrier-based bomber. Can you fit a gladiator inside the Idris, or Idris, or Idris, or Idris?
Depends on who you're talking to.
I know.
The provisional answer is yes, I believe it fits. I think its dimensions are slightly smaller than the Hornet. So it should fit. Of course, that's really not the Idris's primary purpose. It's just, it's sort of a bonus add-on. But I believe it's going to fit. So all you people out there with gladiators can celebrate.
There you go. Well, gladiators and
an Idris.
Yeah. Both of those.
Good point.
Yeah, unless you're going to go swallow one up or something. From Zabulon. I have a question regarding the Scythe. How is asymmetrical shape and offset center of mass compensated for when maneuvering?
Wow.
And I'm calling it the Scythe because that's what Chris was calling it in today's design meeting. So I thought, Scythe, Sith, Scythe,
It's a tradition now.
Yeah, it is.
Very short-lived tradition.
Yeah, probably right.
So I've almost forgotten the question now.
Yeah. How does it work? How does it maneuver with everything being offset in the center of mass and balance and things of that nature?
So the neat thing about our physics system is we actually take that kind of thing into account. So basically, the simplest answer to that is some of the engines, particularly the maneuvering jets, have to work harder than others.
Right.
Because the physics system does compensate for things like missing thrusters if something gets shot and it's damaged. But it also then would be able to handle the off-center.
Right. It'd be configured to handle that, so to speak.
It's a complicated physics equation. It's basically what it comes down to at that point.
Right, which I'm sure they'll figure out because amazingly, that's exactly what they do. From Slack R, I guess that could be Slacker. Will there be a freestyle element to Squadron 42 when you're not running missions?
Can you be in the military and go off on your own?
Yeah, you can just borrow one of our ships and go do whatever you want today.
Hey, recruit, why don't you take that Hornet and run around and go shoot whatever the heck you want out there?
Free day.
Yeah, free day, right. I don't think that's the way it works.
So yeah, as in all of the wing commanders before, it's you're in the military, you have a job to do.
Right.
It's not, it's not that that kind of freestyling sort of thing.
Exactly. So no is the answer to that. I mean, there might be some off-world missions or something like that, but for the most part, you're in the military. You don't see the guys in the aircraft carriers nowadays go flying around on joyride, so it's pretty much the same in Squadron 42. From Nemo Skydog, a Squadron 42 question. We know the Hornet is the main UEE fighter, but will there be other fighters to choose from in Squadron 42 missions, like in the old Wing Commanders? And Star Lancers.
Yes. Another one that I can answer with just a yes. It seems like I'm shortchanging.
Yeah, that's true. You'll be able to fly torpedo bombers and all kinds of different things that are, in the universe. And
They've already seen them. You've seen several of those ships already, like the Gladiator and the Retaliator are both military. So yeah, you'll have those and other fighters as well.
Troop transports?
Excellent. Yes.
All kinds of stuff. So, it's not just locked into one type of fighter craft. I mean, majority of them will probably be one fighter, but you'll be upgrading and playing along the way. We don't want to give too much away. It's like a right. Okay, from the Meta Baron. Where is the second turret on the Cutlass? What did you do with that turret, Rob? What, you got it on you?
Okay, so without going into too much detail on the classes of weapons again, which is all, of course, available on our lovely website. Originally, the turrets were less defined than they are now as far as the different classes of guns, like a Class 2 and a Class 4 and a Class 5. There's now those degrees where we're actually specifying one's just a gun that can pivot in one or two directions, while there's one is more of a free turning gun. So really the second turret on the Cutlass is the tractor beam.
Tractor beam, right.
In the back.
Class 4, right? That's where we're at, or is it Class 4?
Well, see, the main turret is actually a Class 5 now.
Which means it's a man turret.
It is, yeah. So basically, as with everything we ever put on the website, game in progress, development in progress, things change. In this case, it just was some classifications.
That's a good point. And the thing that you guys have to remember here out there is that those things that are published, generally speaking, along game development, those things get washed out over time while you're making the game. And by the time it gets finished or by it's balanced or put out there to everybody once you start playing it, that would have been 6 months, a year, 2 years before, had already been figured out or slotted or changed, and you guys wouldn't have even seen that. But because we're doing sort of this modular and we're doing open development, we're letting you in on the process. So there's going to be a lot that will change over time, and so specifically in ship stats, my gosh. So yeah, just be understanding that that's going to happen, and that's part of the fun of being involved. From Hessian, he says, for those of us that will get asteroid hangars when the full game comes out, we'll be able to pick a lawless or almost lawless system to base our hangar in.
Why, yes. 3 yeses in one day.
3 yeses?
Yeah, so we already have identified the systems where the initial asteroid hangars will be.
Probably
We're
in
not
an
telling you yet.
asteroid field, I would think.
Well, yes, that would be a starting point, certainly.
I'm going to have an asteroid hangar on a moon.
Just a rogue asteroid, just hanging out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, we have identified those systems, and one of them is the lawless system. In fact, they might both be. But we're not ready to tell you that yet.
There you go, fair enough. From Guerra, for ships where there are non-military players, will it be evident that you aren't dealing with the military version of the ship when you encounter them, or will you have to determine that based on the weapon's silhouette, etc.?
I think the short answer to that is that there will be some distinction. Certainly, when we're identifying like groups, like the UEN, then if a Navy ship comes flying at you, it will be clear that they are a member of that group. As far as maybe like the Xi'an ship, the Scout versus the human version of the Scout versus their Scout, well, the human version will obviously look different. The profile will be different. So your ship should be able to identify the differences in this.
So it'll be, and there'll be also, the more you play, the better you'll get at recognizing those things yourself. From, this is an appropriate name. Oh, how did this question get in here? From, I think we should probably just skip this question. From Eat Some Beef, whatever happened to Wingman's weight? You got an answer for that?
There's more of it.
No, that's all that's on here. Yeah, so Wingman's Way, we sort of went off track after the holidays, and we'll probably bring it back, but not as a main portion. We don't want it to be too much of, we want less fluff, more stuff, and maybe a little puff if we ever get the hazy thoughts out there. But Wingman's Way, I'm hemming and hawing here, and it's gone up a little bit, obviously. We're going to go back on it. We'll bring you up to date. We'll bring that segment back, but give me a couple weeks to work it out. All right, I want to thank you, Rob, for coming on and doing a little forum feedback.
No problem.
And guess who's coming up next?
Ben.
Ben Lesnick with this week's Most Valuable Post.
Hey everyone, welcome to MVP, Most Valuable Post. I'm Community Manager Ben Lesnick, and I'm here to tell you what the best post at the RSI forums was this week. First of all, on a personal note, I'm here in Los Angeles. My wife and I have relocated. We'd like to thank you for all your well wishes. It's been a stressful few weeks, but it's really great to be working with Chris and the dogfighting team here, and everything is just very cool out here. I'd also like to thank Michael Morlan for filling in for me on MVP last 2 weeks. He did a great job, and you may be seeing him in the future, but for now, it's great to be back on Wingman's Hangar. This week's MVP goes to Liudeius and a group of other Star Citizen backers who are working hard to subtitle all our video productions for the hearing impaired. Not just Wingman's Hangar, but Next Ray Starship, 10 for the Chairman, the commercials, and even some of the great fan videos like Hull Truth are getting their treatment. I know it's difficult, thankless work, and they're just doing a great job to make Star Citizen more accessible. Absolutely, we salute them, and they're all getting the MVP award.
Fan Focus is always one of our favorite segments. And because this is a little bit about Foundry 42, one of the Star Citizens out there went and made Lego versions of some of our ships. Take a look at that. It's always good to see what you guys are up to in the verse, and especially since the guys over at Foundry 42 kind of been making Lego games, it's kind of appropriate. So well done. That's this week's Fan Focus. So earlier this week, I got a chance to sit down with an old friend of mine, Phil Meller, the lead designer at Foundry 42, and the challenges he's got with creating things for both single player and a large player universe. Hey everybody, earlier we got to see a sneak peek at the mining colony and what some of the stuff that's going on in Squadron 42 over in the Foundry 42 or Manchester office. And I've got lead designer Phil Meller here with us today. Are you guys hard at work on Squadron 42, or what's up over there these days?
Yeah, we're always hard at work. Always hard at work.
So mining's really crucial to Star Citizen. There's a lot of fans that really want to play, the mining component, and that's pretty big in Squadron 42, right? So what are you guys up to with mining?
It plays a pretty big part in the first 10 missions. Well, you're set around a mining facility, so the thing is, you guys are going to inherit it at some point. So we've just got to make sure it works.
Right, it's a pretty big component, and that's one of the beautiful things about this is in distributed development. We've got teams owning different portions of the game all over the world, and then we integrate it all back together, so it's all pretty crucial. And speaking of that, a lot of your team right now is busy on dogfighting.
Yeah, with everyone's been drafted in, just mucking in. We've got to make sure we do it right, haven't we? So yeah, all hands to the pump.
That's exactly right. And so a lot of your guys are in Los Angeles right now. We had 3 of them over here in the U.S., in Austin office as well. And, so it's just kind of leading the charge. Now, without giving too much away, because, Squadron 42 is a single-player experience, what's the plan? What's the plan of action for that game?
Well, first 10 missions for the end of this year, fingers crossed. So we're knuckling down with those, and then in the background we'll have other teams, working on the follow-up 10 segments of 10 missions every month after.
Just kind of doing the modular release kind of schedule, like the rest of us, where it's interesting. It's a serial sort of release, kind of like the old movies, the old Buck Rogers movies or something.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, like cliffhangers the end of Flash Gordon, like the old Flash Gordon serials, the big cliffhanger at the end of every 10 mission segment.
That sounds like fun too. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever done that. It's almost like doing, like Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, except, like with a better story.
Yeah, I hope so.
Now listen, you're back. We go pretty far back. In fact, you, Nick, Aaron, Chris, myself, Deggs, we go back a long way. How far? When did we first meet? When did we first start hanging out?
It was I first met you on 6th Street in Austin back in '87.
87. That's like the 20th century.
You were sporting that lovely little tash.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the one you've been denying for the last 25 years.
Yeah, I might have had one of those football style mustaches where you had 11 on each side. It was pretty weak actually.
There was no mullet though.
No, definitely did not have the mullet, but I did have the Greg Brady curly hair for a while too. That's how bad it goes. I'm just happy to have hair at this point, to be honest.
You should have gone to, was it the full Brian Bosworth?
Dude, Brian Bosworth rocking the old school U.S. football reference. I love it. So, but do you recall we were all hanging out? Now, we kind of all started playing games together. We play like Risk and Monopoly and all that stuff. And we were playing, we were at Todd Porter's house, and Todd and I were on opposite ends of the board. I had Kamchatka. No, I had Alaska, and he had Kamchatka. And I go to get a soda out of the fridge, and he goes to the bathroom. And why don't you tell people what happened next?
Well, it's all a bit vague.
It's a bit vague.
No, it was, well, you made the cardinal sinner leaving the room, didn't you? We were just, because it was so boring playing you two guys, we thought we'd spice things up. And I just leant over and moved a couple of armies and just looked to Chris and said, let's see what happens. Then I think you both came back in. Then Todd just went off on one. Absolutely just lost the plot. Then he kicked you out, didn't he?
He kicked me out. It was weird because what you did was you moved we had an equal number of armies over there, and I think you took some of his armies up Kamchatka, and he just went crazy.
Yeah, he just lost it. He was banging on, wasn't he? He was banging on. He was a risk champion.
A risk champion, and he
was giving it all that, and he was useless. Yeah, and then he lost the plot. And, you guys didn't speak for what, 4 years or so?
No, it wasn't that long. It was a couple months. It was a month or so at least. Well, he was accusing me of cheating, and I was like, I didn't do anything. But the worst part is, it took you 7 years to finally own up to moving those armies.
Yeah, I wasn't going to fess up to that. Me and Chris were driving home, and we thought, we better not talk about this.
That was nuts. But that's how far we go back. And we used to, you were at Origin Systems, right? Didn't you work on, you came over every now and then and work on some of the games with Chris, right?
Yeah, there's Times of Law. I was just testing on that, to be honest. Then there was a game, Bad Blood. I think that it did come out. Then there was 2400 AD, but no, that never came out. But yeah, it was just fun times. Come over in the summer.
We'd play We'd play with green guns in the arboretum area and stuff. And
yeah. The paintball.
Yeah,
that was. It was like Todd again. Was it Todd again? Taking one in the face.
He got shot in the eye. Remember, he got I guess he stood up and a branch caught his glasses, and I think Garriott shot him in the eye. And it dislodged his retina, and he had to sleep sitting up for 2 weeks. That's what he gets for throwing me out of the apartment, though.
Yeah, I remember he was actually trying to stuff. He thought the paintball was his eye. He thought it was his actual eyeball, and he was trying to stuff the actual paintball back into the socket. Oh. I think that probably did more damage than the actual bullet impact.
That might be true. So you guys, now what have you been doing? Now you've got a pretty long. You guys, a lot of y'all came over from Traveler's Tales, where you've been making Lego games. So how excited are you guys to be on Star Citizen now?
Oh, it's huge, yeah. It was great fun working on the Lego games, but when a challenge like this comes along, you've got to go at it.
Right, and we've got a history of space games.
Yeah. Well, we did Starlancer, and there was, it wasn't a rush job or anything. We were proud of it, but we all the way through we kind of say, hey, if only we could do this, if only we could do this, and the time's come.
It's funny. I tell the story on Starlancer, when we did cooperative multiplayer, and we did all those branching on the different missions, which open up, if you had 2 or 3 or 4 people, and nobody ever played that thing cooperatively. I think we were a little ahead of our time.
It was so good as well.
I know, it was really good. The funny thing is, though, we weren't getting the feedback from people, like we are now. That's kind of why we're doing this modular release, where you get feedback from people and find out what they like and what they don't like early in the process, where we're not going down rabbit holes.
That's great. Yeah, you don't have to crystal ball it. These people give you the feedback straight away, and I think they're a pretty honest bunch.
Yeah, yes, they are. Brutally honest at times. I'm looking at you, citizens. Anyway, listen, I want to thank you guys thank you, Phil, for joining us. Man, I look forward to coming over there and seeing you guys and having a brew, and seeing the family.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll do the tank museum.
Oh, the tank museum. Dude, you and I have been talking about that for about 20 years.
Oh, yeah, we've been banging on about it. No, we'll do it this time.
Yeah, that's a promise, right?
Yeah.
What we could maybe do is have a flash mob there and see who shows up citizen-wise and just hang out with some citizens.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, go see some tanks, smell some diesel oil, and get a few...
Yeah, you've got a working Tiger 1 there.
Do they really?
Yes, I think they roll it out in the summer, so hopefully we'll see the thing working.
Oh, I'm thinking the week before Gamescom, bringing the family over, hanging out, seeing Aaron, you, Nick, everybody, Dags, and then I'd love to go to the tank museum. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, we'll do it this year.
All right, man. Listen, it's great to see you, and
you too, mate.
We'll see you later, brother. Take care. I want to thank Phil for joining us this week. It's always good to see him. He's a dear friend, and he's an incredibly talented individual. And he's one of the leaders of the team of incredibly talented individuals over there, and we're lucky to have them. So, well done, Phil. And now I want to thank subscribers and pledgers, especially subscribers. You guys are amazing. Without you guys, there is no us. You support this show, and you sort of drive the direction we want to take it. So if you have anything to say, put it in the subscriber forum. We'll be listening to you. Coming up this week, well, get your Hangar patch. It came out yesterday. It's the first of a couple. We've got patch out, updated the Freelancer cockpit based on your feedback. We've got moving targets in the firing range, Rob.
Moving targets
About
in the
dang
firing
time.
range.
We've got a lot of little things that went in there. We got rid of some of the things like the Christmas lights and things of that nature. And now we're going to be marching on to PBR. Probably there'll be another incremental patch coming between now and then. I don't want to tell you too much about what's in that because it's pretty cool, but just get ready for it. And then there'll be probably the next big thing you'll see will be PBR. Next week is our first full performance capture. Now, if you don't know what full performance capture is, you've seen this done before, right? A lot of games, it's kind of an iterative process. Games have always been to where you record in the vocal booth people's voices and stuff. And then they've gone to motion capture where you wear the suits and you got the dots on you and you record it and so the body actions match. Now we're doing full performance capture. And what this means is you have the suits, you block out the scene, and you have head cams. So we're capturing the facial movements, all the animation curves from that. We're capturing the body movements, and we're capturing the voice at the same time. So everything matches up, eye lines, all that. The first session where we're doing a big performance capture test takes place next week. We'll be there to show you some behind-the-scenes stuff coming up in future Wingman's Hangar, so get ready for that. And we have the next great Starship episode, 1.4, is this Friday. Really looking forward to that episode this week. Good luck to Sandi and the crew for putting that together. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be the first to find out what we do, when we do it. You'll get a little email. It'll tell you what's going on. We post a lot of videos, and you'll be the first one to find out. Submit your questions on the RSI forum. We'll get a forum thread up probably a day or two after this show where people can get in there and get your questions in and get them answered. If you want your video questions, we're still taking video questions. We've just upped the bar a little bit on the standards for those things, so get those into us. And come check out Wingman's Hangover. It's kind of an informal look at what we did. You'll talk about what you liked about the show, what you didn't like, what's going on, and we'll take some Skype calls occasionally. We'll get on the chat roll and we'll hang out together about 15 minutes after this show every Friday. Not Friday anymore. It's Wednesday. Every Wednesday afternoon. So check that out and we'll hang out. Maybe we'll split those up sometime, but right now it comes up after the show. And remember, if you want your stuff featured on Wingman's Hangar, send it in. We just might use it. Where are we going to see him, Rob? In the verse!
What if there were no hypothetical questions?